Peace, everyone. So today we're going to be touching on Saturn, and specifically Saturn return. So the planet Saturn is the sixth planet away from the sun from us. We have the sun, which is not a planet, a luminary, and then you have the Mercury planet, then you have the Venus planet, then you have the Earth planet, and then you have Mars, then you have Jupiter, and then you have Saturn. Saturn, being the sixth planet away from the sun, takes a little bit longer to go around the sun. So imagine Mercury being the closest, goes around the sun very quickly. Around 8 to 8 days, it's already made a full circular motion around the sun. Now, with the Earth, we know it takes us roughly about a year, right? 365 days. And then with Saturn, it takes roughly around 29 years, 29 and a half. It just depends on, the circular motion is not perfectly circular. So, there's some ends that take a little bit longer than others, but roughly we're going to say 29 years to go around the sun. Now, this planet has a big signification in astrology. I'm pretty sure even in astronomy it has big significations, but when we bring it back into the state of astrology, Saturn, since it's the last planet we can actually see with our eyes, it represents endings. So after Saturn, we need technology, we need extra lenses to see what's in our solar system. But before that, we could just use our eyes. It looks like a twinkling star, a little bit dim, but it's still bright in the sky. It represents limitations, because that's the limit that we as ourselves can go with just ourselves without bringing any extensions of ourselves. Hope that makes sense. It also rules manifestation, bringing something into form. So Saturn is the planet of manifestation. It does rule, fallings. It is the planet that definitely brings test. It's definitely the tester. Saturn is the tester. Saturn is the planet where you feel it in your chart. It remind you that life is an experience, and life is not all about the highs, and life is not all about the lows. It's about being disciplined within one area and understanding what that discipline means to you and sharing it on, moving on, sharing it on, whether you teach it on or you build something out of it. Saturn is definitely that energy of building. It's serious and it's a responsible energy. So when we are all blessed to reach the age of 28, 29, 30, 31, around these ages here, specifically 29, most of us would have gone through our Saturn returns or starting our Saturn returns, depending on if Saturn was in the beginning or at the end of a specific area in your chart. And so when we hit 29, we do get this Saturnian theme, of having to be patient, having to take on some sense of responsibility, having to limit ourselves so we can, limit ourselves so we can end something to start something. It's a serious time, 29. It's a serious time. And I would love to show this through, since Travis Scott, people have been talking about him much, I thought just to talk about him. So I'm going to look at his chart. I don't know his time of birth, so this will not be that specific, but I love how already what has happened is confirmation enough for me. So Travis Scott has got sun in Taurus, so he is a sun sign of Taurus. And what that means is this house of Aquarius, the house of Aquarius is going to rule his 10th house. So his house of public reputation, his house of career, his house of authority. And Travis Scott is 29 years old, and Saturn actually is in Aquarius, meaning he's going through a Saturn return. His Saturn is actually at 17 degrees, and currently Saturn is at 7 degrees of Aquarius. So it's getting closer to 17 degrees, and the closer it gets, the more intense the Saturnian energy will become. And so for Travis Scott, what this looks like based on where Saturn is that he's having to increase his responsibility in his public reputation. will definitely have to increase his responsibility with authority, his responsibility, yeah, with the public. It's just what it is. Some sense of limitation with the public and seriousness in the public, right? And that's just getting hotter, you know, as Saturn gets to 8 degrees, 9 degrees, 10 degrees, 11 degrees, all the way down to 17, boom, you know, that will really, we can really see how his Saturn return is coming to form. But looking at it from his moon sign, he has a moon in Aries. And so Saturn in Aquarius would be in his 11th house, his house of trust, his house of support, his house of supporters, organizations and groups. And it's very interesting that the more, you know, the moon represents the public. So I definitely wanted to use the moon, but the moon also represents security. So from looking at it from another, in a more emotional side for Travis Scott, I'm perceiving that his security, his responsibility with the trust and the trust he has with groups and the trust he has with the supporters will have to increase. There's a lot more responsibility when it comes to his supporters and the groups that he's in and his goals and his dreams. There's a lot more responsibility on him. And so I thought, oh, when all these things came out about him, I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because Saturn also in that 11th house, Saturn always likes to be known as like the devil. One energy that humans, one word that humans have created, devil, right? Can go to Saturn because it's the goat, and normally we use the animal of the goat to represent a devil. I don't know where that came from, but that's what it is. And so people were saying like he worships the devil and does rituals, and it's really interesting. Personally, it's not that. He's just going through a more serious, responsible time, and with this planet, and it just seems Saturn doesn't always work negatively or very challengingly. Saturn depends on what time of day you were born. If you're born in the night, Saturn, yes, will require more responsibility out of you. But if you were born in the day, Saturn will still require responsibility out of you, but it favors the day born. So it is as such. And I just wanted you guys to think about, if you are under 29, you know, definitely get a reading and see where Saturn is, or just pull up a chart and see where Saturn is and study that area Saturn is. I'm happy to support you there. But for those who have already gone through that age and been blessed to go through the age of 29, think about what 29 was like for you. And your next Saturn return is definitely coming up. So definitely, if you want to look back, that will give you an inkling of what would come next for your next Saturn return. Of course, I'm happy to support you in that. So you can book a reading with me, send me a message, and we can get that going. And I hope you guys enjoyed this Saturn return, Saturn energy vlog. Peace.